Ciao bueno.
Hello, Scott. Do you know what ASL needs?
Uh,
Or what does you flip that? What do you want in ASL?
free.
Free. That's
Free
that's a theme.
ASL.
That's a theme in the comments we have here. But that's not a choice, at least on what I listed here. So I ran this poll on the YouTube community section, and we got 243 votes, which was pretty good. I would call that a decent representation of the ASL player base, I would think. The choices, I only have a limited amount of choices on YouTube. I can't put like 20 different choices, so I kept it pretty broad. And I put historical modules, scenarios, innovative mechanics, such as in campaign games, historical modules, what have you, more starter kit content, or something else. And I asked people to leave a comment. So just at a high level, what did you vote? You voted, right?
Yes, I voted. I voted for more historical modules.
Okay. Just in general, anything historical?
Well, you know me. I like uh, American, so
More America?
or more paratroopers. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, anything.
I think you're a little like me. You mentioned it earlier, off camera. Map porn is what we call it,
Yeah,
right? Historical
yeah,
map porn, which is very cool. I like historical maps as well.
yeah.
Um,
I've always kind of had a thing for maps. That's like kind of goes back to like Comp Group Piper and opening up the box and just
yeah.
getting off on the maps.
Was Comp Group Piper the first or second historical? Wasn't it the second?
Red Barricades, I think, was
Yeah,
first, wasn't it?
you're
Yeah.
right. I think so. Yeah, that was way back, way back in time.
I
Um,
don't think I never got Red Barricades. I don't think when it first came out.
oh, the original?
I don't. Well, no, I don't think so.
You have
I
the
can't.
reprint, right? Red
Yeah,
Factories or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
yeah.
but you don't have the original big uh, flat pack box or whatever it's called.
I have the deluxe one. I think. What was that one? The two
Oh,
wasn't there?
Streets of Fire, the deluxe.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Streets of Fire.
Streets of
But I
Fire.
don't think. No, I don't. I don't think I ever. I don't remember why
Really?
exactly
Huh.
now. That was a long time
Thought
ago,
you
so I
did.
don't.
Yeah.
No.
So, okay, historical modules. Before I get to my vote, uh, do you think historical modules are getting a little out of hand, though?
Like too many of them.
Not too many, just the scope.
Hmm.
We like maps, but do we like big maps that don't even really fit on your table? Is that what we really want or need?
Well, yeah. I also like Epic. Just big.
Yeah, but every time we talk about playing one, we get a little gun shy, I think, when we talk about playing something huge. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, geez,
Well,
the commitment.
yeah. It would be. I mean, like some of them, like your Omaha one would be. I mean, you couldn't really. You couldn't. I mean, it's something you have to play on Vassal. You couldn't hardly
Yeah,
set it
yeah.
up and then leave it set up. I mean, ideally, I'd love to have the space someday to be able to do that, but
Mhm.
I don't. It'd be tough.
Your dedicated game room like Ardwolf has. Did you see his video
Yeah.
on his dedicated game room he built, or the table he put into his game room, which is pretty cool.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
mean, I would. You'd have to keep it locked. I mean, I'd go in there one morning and the cat would have been in there chewing on the counters and tearing up the maps.
Godzilla on your map. Rah.
Yeah.
So I have a love-hate relationship with historical modules. Conceptually, I love them. I think some of the ones that have come out recently are they're just too big. And I really like looking at them and reading through them, but I always wonder, am I going to actually play them because they're just so enormous, you know? So I did not vote for historical modules, though I understand why people would. I voted for, can you guess it?
Starter kit content.
I did. Um, I starter kit. You and I've talked about it at length, both on and off camera. Uh,
Hmm.
it's a great stepping stone to ASL. And sometimes I get the feeling for multi-man publishing, not because of choice, but just because of necessity and resources, that it gets a little bit neglected. I think they would like to put out a bunch more, but the resources they have, they put towards, full ASL, pushing that stuff out the door. So I feel like Starter-Kit gets a little neglected. It has one historical module in when did Starter-Kit first come out? 2007, 2005, the
Yes,
first.
I thought it was, yeah, something like that. 2000,
Yeah, so it's been
2004 might be too early, but
18 years, give or take, and it has one historical module. There's another one coming, and I mean they've expanded it a little bit, but there's only what a little over 100 scenarios for it, official scenarios. I feel that Starter Kit is a good place for ASL players to start, and I feel that it needs a little more love. ASL has so much stuff in it, and I don't know if it doesn't need. I use the word need. I should have
yeah.
used what do you want in ASL, but ASL doesn't technically need anything. It's so huge, right? And it has so much content. I feel Starter Kit needs a little love.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my thought about it is I don't know the inside workings at MMP, but I don't, I wonder if they're a little confused themselves about whether or not the direction they want to take it. I mean, is it just supposed to be something to get you started, or is it going to be kind of its whole entire, just a separate entity? I don't know.
I think it's probably both, but they can't. My speculation is they can't dedicate the amount of resources they would probably like to it, you know?
Yeah, probably.
Plus,
I
they
think.
have, all the other stuff they publish, right? The other, BCS, GTS, SCS, and I don't know, all the other ones they try
Well,
to put out, right?
that's the gamers, though. I mean, they're pretty much separate. So the gamers do all that, and then MMP is just ASL. So
Well, the MMP publishes it though, so they have to do all the
right,
layout and everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
MMP doesn't do any game development in-house that I know of. They might have a small group that works with them very closely, but I don't know if they do any dedicated game development anymore. I think it's all publishing. They solicit from designers and they work it out and they lay it out and they publish it, I believe.
yeah,
Again,
I don't.
I don't know the process behind their, closed gates, I guess.
No, I don't know. I don't.
But yeah, okay, so let's look at the results here. People probably watching the video have seen it. Scenarios, historical modules, half the people voted for that. I totally get that. Scenarios, dead last. I think most people agree uh, ASL has a lot of scenarios, and I'm referring to full ASL when I say scenarios. There are, I don't know, 8 to 10,000 scenarios between official multi-man publishing and all the third-party and fan scenarios or whatever you want to call them. Does it need any more scenarios? Probably not, but they keep getting churned out in packs and whatnot.
Well, I think scenarios are probably the easiest, right, to
Mhm.
produce. So, and yeah, I mean, there's plenty MMP scenarios, but yeah, if you start figuring third party, it's crazy how many scenarios there probably are out there.
Yeah, they're all listed. Well, I think if it's up to date, listed on the Roar website. And if you go and sort by um, name or whatever, you can sort and then like just copy the page and paste it into Excel. It would tell you. I think I did it once, and there were over 7,000 scenarios listed there, which is plenty for a 10 lifetimes. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a lot of scenarios. Um, let's see. So scenarios came in dead last. Innovative mechanics and other stuff came in third place. And when I put innovative mechanics, I'm talking about referring to campaign games and historical modules, or what are what's the name they gave the multi-map publishing? The ones like Operation Veritable and they didn't call them campaign games. What they call them?
Mm, I don't know.
I don't have
I
my
thought,
box. They call them something else. Anyway, innovative mechanics related to those. So the standard MMP campaign game is pretty much the same, right? You've got campaign game dates. You have 8 turns with a variable turn length between I think 5 and 8, refit phase, etc.
yeah,
It's kind
purchase
of the
purchase
yeah, it's
points.
kind of the same for almost all of them. When I refer to innovative mechanics, I'm thinking something different than that ties historical campaign game dates together, something like that. And that got 9%, you know.
Well, I've noticed the new trend with scenarios is that, especially compared to the old ones, they're way shorter.
Yeah,
But the new trend is the allowing you to purchase stuff.
right. Like in Twilight of the Reich, I think almost every one of them had uh, purchase options in every scenario.
Yeah, and a lot of the journals, the new scenarios, a lot of those have had the same thing or similar.
Yeah,
Um, which I don't know. I guess I'm not sure we've even, other than Steelworks, we haven't really played one with those kind of mechanics. But
maybe a couple, but not
it,
many.
yeah, I can see, definitely add to replayability, right?
Well, it's a double-edged sword. It
Right.
it adds it adds variability at the beginning. Um, assuming it's completely play tested for every combination multiple times. I wonder if you can get it into a situation where one side purchases some combination of whatever, and then the other side purchases, and it's just not a compatible combination, and the scenario's lopsided.
I'm sure. I'm
I
sure
can see that. Yeah,
that's the
that's
one drawback. That's the one drawback for me, is because that there's one of those combination of purchases that is the correct one,
for one side
right?
or the other. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you got to, like, it's like I've always said, a lot of scenarios are like puzzles. You got to
Hmm.
figure them out. There's always a key to them.
Yep.
So, yeah.
But it does add replayability. But how often
Yeah.
do I mean we don't replay scenarios almost never. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I'll do another poll later on that on how often do you replay a scenario because we don't very often. There's so many of them to get to that we don't do it.
Yeah, there's been several I've kind of wouldn't mind playing again, but like we talked about, there's just so many to just
Hmm.
forget it and move on, right? But
Yeah. Then starter kit content came in second, as we just said. And maybe I need to also break that out into a second poll. I'm looking down because I have my tablet to draw on here, although I'm not drawing very much. Um, starter kit
well, that's the
content,
one. Yeah, that's the one thing starter kit could use more of, is scenarios, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. So I could run a separate poll later that says what does starter kit need, and have the same sort of options maybe. And then I had other stuff. If it's not listed here, leave a comment on what you thought and what you think ASL needs or what you want in ASL. And I thought we'd go through some of those very quickly here. So you voted for historical modules, just straight up any historical module. It sounds like I voted for starter kit content because I think it needs some love. I would also vote for historical modules if it were, uh, I don't know what the term would be, more manageable campaign games. Something more things along the lines of Hatton and Flames instead of Prokhorovka, which looks epic, but my God, it's just looks like a monster to play.
Yeah, Pony Re.
Yeah, and then innovative mechanics. Actually, I wanted to mention this. One of the recent innovative mechanics that I saw is from Advancing Fire's Brevity Assault, where they have an operational map.
Yeah.
And I'll put a video up in the upper right. I'll link to the overview I did of it. They had an operational map, and as you move your operational units around to different nodes on the operational map, you play. tactical ASL missions, and you can fight it out at the operational level. They have rules for that. And then when you get down to the tactical level, there are either scenarios or it kind of generates a random one out meeting out in the desert that you fight. You're kind of fighting
Mm.
for each of the operational nodes. That is fairly innovative. Now, again,
Hmm.
we haven't played that, and it looks like playing if you play through that entire operational thing, it would take you years to play all the scenarios to wrap up the operational map. It looks just massive. But I would vote for historical modules if there were more manageable ones with innovative rules, innovative mechanics in them. That's kind of a combination I would vote for after starter kit content. ASL has so much stuff. I think we'll be happy for quite a while.
Well, I mean, when you're spending money on something, you know, like the Operation Brevity, that's a lot of bang for your buck, right? Compared to
Hmm.
like one map and four scenarios or
Right.
something. It's even if you never do it, even if you don't ever play the operational part, it's there, and
Hmm.
so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Brevity Assault did have. I mean, it came with like 5 maps, 4 or 5 maps, and it had scenarios on those different maps. And then there was an operational level one as well, which was played on kind of geomorphic desert boards that you put together.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an example of innovative mechanics. Maybe at a smaller scale, so it's a little more manageable, but that was a pretty cool and innovative mechanic recently that I saw. Okay, let's go through these comments before we get too long-winded because we're at 17 minutes already.
Oh wow.
I don't know if I sorted this. I'll just leave it as it is here. We've got Too Nice Brian says he wants cheaper stuff. I think we would all agree on that. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of relative, but you're spending 135 bucks, but that's you can get a lot of entertainment out of that. But yeah, it adds up. So
Prices never go down. When was the last time you
no.
saw prices go down? Maybe eggs at the store, but I don't foresee things getting cheaper, to be honest. Unless ASL sales start going through the roof and volumes go up, prices will go down, but I don't see ASL sales going through the roof anytime soon. Let's see, Richard Webb, 8090 said bigger font, love to see bigger counters and boards, younger players, team play, maybe some new type of German squad to represent the 1943 Kriegsmarine administration staff. I thought that was Navy, so I'm not sure what he's talking about there. Um,
Yeah. Oh,
isn't Kriegsmarine German
yeah.
Navy, I believe?
Yeah.
I don't know if they did any ground combat. I don't know a whole lot about them. Bigger
Oh,
counters and boards. Oh, go ahead.
oh no, they may have. Yeah,
Possibly.
the bigger counters and boards. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's a
it's
kind of a theme in here. I don't see it happening.
no. I in the what Actually, I do like 98% of all my wargaming on Vassal anymore. So uh, the actual components, I don't even bother punching or using hardly. So
A lot of players are really resistant to Vassal for whatever game. They just refuse for some
I
reason. They
I
want, yeah.
yeah, I love Vassal.
Oh yeah, it's
I Since I started using Vassal, I mean, it's been close to 10 years now. I've probably done more wargaming in the last 10 years than I did in the previous 40 years.
mhm.
Just because, uh, even just solo, I do all my solo playing on Vassal. It's
Yeah. You
instead of
just
sets, yeah. Just
yeah,
I can play 3, 4 different games in a day. I don't have to
right.
set stuff up, take it down. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, bigger counters and boards. Once you start doing things like it just kind of blows up. If you ask for bigger fonts, that leads to bigger counters. That leads to bigger hexes. That leads to bigger
Mm.
maps, right? And the ecosystem would just kind of blow up. And I don't know if people would want to buy all that stuff again. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, that's the problem. It would be the map size.
Yeah.
Instead of the size they are now, they'd have to be 2/3 bigger.
Yeah. This person here, user whatever, random letters, would love to learn more vehicle combat. Oh, I think he misunderstood the poll question. I think he's talking about what he wants to see the channel produce, not what he wants to see in ASL. So we'll skip that one. George, most of us know George Hiotis. He wants counters for us oldies. I think that's back to font size
Yeah.
and counter size. Clanky44, I'd like to see Solitaire ASL expanded and geared toward AFV usage, commanding tank platoons through historical campaigns with revised enemy activations would be a hoot. I have not played Solitaire ASL. You said you have back in the day.
Yeah, it was fun. It was different, but it was fun.
Um, there is a reprint of Solitaire ASL coming someday.
Yeah.
They're working on it. Was it in
Yeah.
the was it in the forecast for 2024? I don't. Maybe it was. I don't remember.
Well, they've mentioned it. I think it's supposed to be coming out fairly
Yeah,
soon.
they're working on a reprint for that. So, and I think they're adding some activation for some nationalities into it as well. So they're expanding it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
I doubt I would pick it up because I don't I would play it now, but I mean, I have played it and it's different. It was a good time. So,
yeah. Let's see. Lonesome Henri Mean 9216. It also needs more younger players.
that's just a little too personal.
Yeah. Yes, I've always said this that ASL demographic is aging. Um, and if we don't bring new players into ASL and get them interested in history and World War II history and playing tactical war games, ASL will probably peter out someday and there won't be much activity in it. So, how to get more young players in? That's kind of the conundrum, I think.
Yeah, I don't really know how that happens. It kind of just has to happen by itself almost. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think some people say, well, why don't you update the look of the system, right? The ASL, the look of ASL, other than some third-party stuff, hasn't changed in 40 years, right? The counters are the same, the rulebook's the same. I think some people say make it more, I don't know, colorful and attractive, and maybe that might bring in younger players. I don't know if that's true, but that's a theory that some people have.
Yeah.
Philip Vano 9730, historical studies. That's what it was. They're called historical studies, like
Mm.
Veritable Watchtower, Orsha, etc. are campaigns, but using geoboards. Why not use what we have already? Yeah,
Eh,
I
I like
mean,
the historical maps.
yeah, you lose if you're not using historical maps. And some of the historical maps are pretty accurate. It's creating them at a 40
Yeah.
meter hex scale. If you start putting them on generic boards, it's going to feel a lot less historic, I think. It might be fun, but I don't know if you could call them historic at that point.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, the geo boards are okay for just generic scenarios, but there's something about the actual historical. I mean, it's like you're refighting over the same ground.
Yeah.
It's,
Edward Pocock 3. These names, man.
hey, come on now, it's a family show.
These is this a family show? Let's see. I always wish the counters had better art. That goes back to updating the graphics. Third party has it. And
Yeah.
while on it, infantry counters 5/8 and vehicles 7/8. That would be a yeah. He calls it a complete flip of the table. Yeah, he's absolutely right, and I just referred to that before. It just would blow up the whole. Everything would blow up around the counter size, right? So I think we're
I can see the people that want better counter art. I understand that. Just the generic silhouettes, but at the same time, they're just counters.
they're just cardboard, man.
I don't know. If they look pretty, sure, that'd be. Do they need to look pretty? Not really. I mean, mine just die anyways, so what's the point? They just get deleted.
Die in close combat.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're absolutely functional. I like some of the third party counters, but I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
think
No, they
I don't
look
think we
good,
need
but
them
no.
really. Juan Antonio, yeah, this guy here. You guys
Well,
need
no, wait a minute.
shorter usernames on YouTube.
If it wasn't ASL, if it was like K, then they would just make you buy all new counters.
If
You
it was
know,
what? You cut out a sec
or
first.
Warhammer. If it was like
Oh,
Warhammer 40K,
oh, geez.
just
Talk about money sink. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
No thanks. ASL is already too much of a money sink. I wouldn't touch 40K with a 100-foot pole. Let's see. I'd like to see more special forces dedicated scenarios, commandos, rangers, SAS, even point to hawk assault historical module. I think critical hit did one. I have no idea
Yeah,
if it's any good or any, but I think they did one.
yeah.
But small unit actions, I assume he means on a historical level or maybe just in general. Yeah, I like the smaller scenarios, but as everyone says and we say all the time, dicey as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Category solo. Let's see. Oh yeah, I read this one. I tried to decipher this one. I'd like to see some kind of starter kit upgrade pack to let you play full ASL. Say a few scenarios on the SK map, some of the missing info counters, fire lanes, etc. to play full ASL with the counters you already have. You still need the rulebook though. Make big deal of SK counters being fully compatible, but to actually play full, you needed rulebook beyond valor and blah blah blah. So I think he's
I
I had
am
a hard time following this one.
confused.
I think he's wondering if there's a way to.
Well, there is. You just make the jump to full
Well,
ASL.
yes,
I
that's the
don't.
hard answer. It's not that hard, but that's the hard answer. I think he wants to be able to play uh, ASL scenarios using starter kit. I think that's
Well,
what he's
you
saying because there's so many
can.
ASL scenarios.
The only thing you're missing is like he says, is some of the info counter.
Well, I mean, there's maybe some balancing concerns. I honestly don't know.
Oh, difference. Play full ASL scenarios
I think
with
that's what he
SK
meant.
rules.
Or is it, or am I thinking of the opposite? He wants to use full ASL rules to, well, you could do that easy. You could play starter kit scenarios on full ASL. You just don't use snipers, heated battle, bypass. Pretty much got it. That's most of it,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure exactly what he means. I think I get the concern. He wants to not have to jump to full ASL. More sturdy counters with nice graphics. That's a common theme. After playing many other modern board games, ASL feels really soft and cheap quality. The counters, probably the thickness. I think other games have pretty thick counters, thicker counters.
I don't know. So the like SK4 had really thick counters.
Did they?
They
Thicker.
broke my they broke my clippers.
Uh, I don't remember them being. I don't.
I think the
SK4.
new, I mean,
I don't know.
all the new MMP stuff to me is really quality, especially compared to the old Avalon Hill. I mean,
Oh
when before you and
man.
I, just before you and I started playing again, and I started playing SK with Eric, and he was talking about getting into full ASL and
Do it, Eric.
thinking about. Well, yeah, but I still had all of my first edition stuff. That's
Uh,
all I had, right? And uh I can't remember. Maybe he got the new Beyond Valor or something. But I looked at it, but I'm like, started comparing it to the my old stuff, and it was
mhm.
like, oh my god,
Yeah.
the old Avalon Hill stuff was just
Yeah, the quality was bad. I think my copy
uh,
of
the,
uh, A Bridge Too Far, the counters are just junk. I mean, they're
yeah,
so bad.
they're cut off center,
They're blurry. It's like,
and yeah, the print quality was terrible. Yeah,
uh, but yeah, generally I think the quality of the counters for what they are, right? Black ink on some color, but they're good quality. I mean, they feel good. Let's see, reprints of older modules, historical modules that we don't have to drop $300 to $400 for an out of print title. Well, all
Yeah, I'll agree.
the
I'll agree with that.
yeah, you're probably I know what you're referring to. You're referring to Festung Budapest, aren't you?
Well, yeah, that's the one historical
That's
module I don't.
yeah, that's the one you want, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not a huge East Front guy, but I wouldn't mind having a complete collection. But I don't see why they, because I hear people all the time wanting Piper, and Bridge Too Far. I
reprinted.
don't, yeah, why can't you just? Why don't they reprint the historicals? I don't. Why
Well,
not?
so all the core modules are available. I think they will
Yeah,
be, so that's not a problem. Now, reprinting
no,
the horse historical modules, I think I'm not a printing expert, but I think I know why. All like Comfort Piper was laid out in what 1990 or something like that. All of
yeah.
the however I don't even know how it was laid out back then. What was used, they would have to completely redo it, probably from the ground up, which is would take them a ton of time, a ton of resources. So I don't foresee that. I mean, it's possible, but it's going to take a lot of work. What they should do is just
I mean,
release.
they're a game company. That's what they do. They're not,
Yeah, but it's resources, right? How many? I don't even know how many people work at Multiman Publishing, right? And I have no idea how much money they make to hire people. I don't know any of that, but
yeah.
you need people to do this, relay all this stuff out, as opposed to reprinting Rising Sun. They just probably call the printer and say, "You have all the files, no updates, go," right? And they show up at the dock someday.
Well, that's the thing now. I don't know how long anything they've done probably, within the last 15, 20 years is all on a computer. So
Yeah,
that's easy,
right.
right?
Yep.
The original Avalon Hill stuff, I'm sure they have to, like you said, they have to manually redo it all.
Well, they well, so they did
I mean, the
reprint.
counter, like, well, Comp Group Piper. I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, the counters,
They
this
exist.
they
Yeah,
exist.
right.
You're not, so I don't know.
They have to redo the map and the rules section. I mean, they redid it for Red Barricades, right? It's in Red Factories, so I guess it's doable. I don't know if it will get done though for some of those.
Yeah,
What they should,
I assumed it was just the fact that they have to do a certain number of printings and they
yeah,
probably just don't want to sit on them. So
that's
they
part
don't
of it,
know how many they're going to sell.
right? That's all part of the equation. What they should do is just release all those old historicals as a PDF bundle on Wargame Vault because all the maps are available on Vassal and the counters, and people who don't have it will now have all the rules to be able to play it, and they can just buy the historical bundle for those games on Wargame Vault.
Yeah.
But yeah, uh, David Roberts, 5707, improved art on the counters. Yep. Nick R. For existing fans, I don't think new content is needed anymore. Needed. That's probably true. Only fresh runs of modules from time to time. For enticing new players, I wonder if a dramatic shift in production qualities would help. Something like Flying Pig achieved with old school tactical. It all depends on the objective. I have not played old school tactical, especially with physical components. I don't own it, but I think it has bigger counters and bigger hexes. So this gets back to the argument of
Yeah.
making things bigger and easier to read and more attractive.
Yeah. Like we just said, I mean, would it be nice? Yeah, it'd be nice. But is it? I don't personally don't think it's necessary.
No, it just you can't reset an ecosystem as big as Advanced Squad Leader unless you did if you did some kind of one-off standalone historic. Maybe you could do it maybe in some kind of historical mini historical, right? Here's the ASL historical module. It's got different map art, bigger
Yeah.
hexes, bigger counters with new art. It just looks cooler and different. You could, and it's all self-contained. That's the only way you could probably do it and see how it goes
Well,
from there.
that is one thing I have thought about is ASL version 3,
You gonna get on that?
where no, but
Yeah.
something where they actually like not necessarily change the rules, but maybe to a little bit, kind of just streamline the rules, streamline the game a little bit, and yeah, like totally just redo the whole thing. But
Ooh,
yeah,
man. Uh,
ASL version 3, 3.0. I don't. No, I don't see it happening. But I
no,
mean, it's something I thought about.
that, yeah. So something like it would still be full SL, just I don't know how you would streamline it. Would you'd have to chop stuff out of the rules? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, kind of rewrite the rules.
Can they rewrite? Can they
Simple.
start by rewriting chapter B9, walls, hedges, and bocage? Can they rewrite that again to make it less than 7 pages?
Yeah.
Like 3 pages, two maybe? Anyway, that's my
I
hang up,
mean,
not yours.
yeah, I don't know what I'm, like you would have basically the same game, but you might change certain aspects of it, kind of make it maybe try to simplify it a little bit, parts of it. I don't know.
Maybe get rid of rules that have 0.1% impact on a scenario, maybe? Like, yeah, we don't really need this rule. Like, how often does I shouldn't use snipers as an example because the last game we played,
Yeah,
sniper smoked one of my 9-2 liters. I won't go into that, but anyway, yeah, cut out a rule
too
that doesn't.
fresh.
Yeah, I still have PTSD from that. Um, cut out rules that have minimal impact, right? And really obscure rules that most people probably forget about while they're playing anyway. Like
Get rid of cavalry.
ran, random support weapon destruction during close combat. It's probably something I forget all the time. To roll, you get a kill in close combat and you forget to roll to see if support weapons are destroyed. I'm sure we forget that all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it has probably almost no impact on gameplay. Let's move on here. Let's see what we're at. We're at 37. Oh my God.
Oh jeez.
Okay. Historical is a culmination of all that is fun and good in ASL. I agree, but in my opinion, we need to not go overboard with historical. It needs to be playable and manageable, in my opinion.
Yeah. uh,
I know, yeah, I like the epic stuff too, but how often do we play the huge
no, I
epic
know.
stuff,
Yeah.
right? We talk about it and then we're like, oh, yeah, I don't know, man. Tutorials, I think that person misunderstood. He's talking about channel output. Reprints of historical modules, Le Bridge too far. I think there's one coming.
IE.
Uh,
IE bridge too
oh,
far.
IE, not Le Bridge, not French.
No, it
Le
could be
Bridge
late
too far.
bridge.
Oui, oui. Um, I think they're working on one. I forget what it's called, to the bridges or the bridges or something. I don't know if that's the official name, but there's going to be like 4 bridge related historical modules. I think some of them are reprints. That is coming. So this Bill Broadhurst might get his wish. When? I don't know. Oh, we're almost done. Oh, Stewie, save the best for last. Stop combining the original modules to form a new one and adding too much stuff into older modules, i.e., Hollow Legions and Croy de Gear.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily.
I have to disagree. I have
Yeah,
to
I agree
like
with your
the
disagreement.
latest reprint of Rising Sun. I was just jam packed. You get all the extra scenarios and compared to the original, right? So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're not if you already have Rising Sun, for example,
well,
you don't have to buy that
Coda
updated one.
Bushido, right? It was originally Coda. It was the two Coda
Uh,
Bushido and Gung Ho.
yeah, Gung Ho,
And
yeah.
then they combined it,
hmm
right? But then they also added a bunch of. Didn't they add scenarios,
Gavutu,
annual scenarios,
Tanambogo,
or
yeah, they added a bunch of stuff.
yeah?
I think they do that. I mean, you're not required to buy it. The reason they do that is they have stuff laying around and they're like, well, maybe we can entice people to rebuy this by putting this other stuff in it, right? But
Well, and it's
you
all
don't have to.
updated. It's
Yeah,
all updated, and
yeah. And Hollow Legions, it needed a reprint anyway, right? It hadn't been printed since I can't remember when, and they just put more stuff in it. Nothing wrong with that.
No, more bang
So,
for your buck.
yeah, same with Croix de Guerre. It was one of those. It was like the skinny half module back in the day. They reprinted it and put Donat in it and
Yeah.
Free French, uh, Vichy French, and French, just regular French, right? They
Yeah.
expanded the nationality, so I don't see anything wrong with that. With that.
No, I think it's cool. Yeah.
Okay, Stewie. Scenario cards and counters with color, large hex size. Okay.
Wah, wah,
Will never
wah.
happen. That's why I did it myself. Okay. He must print them out himself if he plays on physical components. But yeah, it's back to the same thing. More color, bigger stuff. Gonna be honest, it's not gonna happen. Unless it was a
No.
standalone thing. That would be the only time it would happen.
Well, I mean, the third party guys are going that way.
Yeah. They aren't going bigger. They're going color. That's about it. They aren't.
Yeah.
Nothing's bigger. The counters are all the same. Presumably, so you could use them on standard ASL boards
Well, like I said before, I mean, it would be nice, but if you go 5/8 counters
for infantry.
for infantry,
Yeah.
and then then we're talking you got to have bigger hexes, so then you need all new maps,
Mhm.
bigger maps.
Yeah.
Uh,
Won't happen. A self-contained experiment.
well, like I
That'd be
said, yeah, I said I play on vasl, so I don't. It doesn't matter.
yeah.
Just ex- I can just blow it up on the screen. And,
And you can play with deluxe size hexes on Vassal as well. Make it really big. That's it.
I
That's
mean,
it
if you
for
if you do a lot of face to face playing, and you end up with stacks of counters all jammed together. Yeah, it's pretty tedious, but
well
I
then
don't.
then you just end up with bigger playing areas, which means you need a bigger table. Or
Yeah,
you limit yourself to smaller scenarios like deluxe, right? The hexes are huge, but the scenarios are just tiny, right? You feel they're compact and constrained because the hexes are so big. So it's a trade-off, but I don't think it's anything we're going to ever have to worry about.
no.
No. Okay, that's it. These are the opinions of. I mean, we interjected our opinions, but these are the opinions of 241, not including Scott and I, fine ASL players and what they think what that ASL needs or what they want in the system.
Yeah, the historical models. I mean, that's what I got. I got into wargaming just because of my love of history, too.
Right.
So yeah, I like the historical stuff.
Yep. I think this voting does not surprise me at all. I'm not surprised scenarios is dead last, and I'm not surprised that historicals is now that the system is basically complete. Not surprised that historicals is number one either.
Yeah,
Okay, Scott, we better end it here.
too
43
long.
minutes. I wanted to do like a half hour, but whatever. It's good. Thanks for discussion. Thanks for
Yeah.
the votes and comments. Any final words, Scott?
Ciao.
Academy out.